Hi everyone, welcome to our session today. I would like to welcome all of you. This is the first official event of Bold Innovates' community building programs. Bold Innovates was launched this past June next to its consulting services in life sciences. One of its goals is to bring a community together. Such community will get together to discuss hard and sometimes complicated topics in life science and health. And we call this Bold Get Together. Everyone is more than welcome to join this community, join the conversation, and be with us today. One of the Bold Innovates community building program, as we explained on our flyer, is the Innovation in Life Science and Health series. And in this series, our priority is to focus on innovations which take a patient and end-user-centric approach, or try to take one. Reflecting this, we wanted to kick off today by hosting the leadership team of an innovative product called Propeaq Light Glasses. So we will have a very interesting session, and I would like to welcome our guests, Toine Schoutens, CEO of Propeaq, and CCO of Propeaq, Muller. Welcome. Nice to see you both.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you for having us.
It's great to see you. And in today's session, we have a very interesting content. We will start with Toine's presentation on the glasses, on the Propeaq Light Therapy glasses, the innovation development, and then Rick will tell us a lot about how to grow it as a company and with partnerships and strategic development. And the last 30 minutes, we will have an interesting question and answer session, which will be in an interview format with interesting questions. And during this session, feel free to join the conversation through the chat, drop your comments, remarks, and your questions, and they will be addressed during the last half an hour. So I would like to kick this session off with giving the stage to Toine for his presentation. Toine, you ready to share your insights?
I'm totally ready. Thank you.
Fantastic. So Toine, I will now share the slides, and then please let me know when you're ready to skip a slide.
Okay. I only say skip.
Yes,
Please.
just a second. We might have a slow sharing here.
In the meantime, maybe I can tell a little about myself and our
Yes,
company.
I would like to suggest that. Please provide introductions, you both, while it's somehow loading it a bit slow. We're testing the platform the first time today, as it's our first event, so please forgive us for this delay. Toine, Rick, please provide introductions. I'm sure our audience would be happy to hear your background as well and your role in the company.
Okay. Well, my name is Toine Schoutens, as you can read. I'm the CEO of Chrono Eyewear, which is the producer of Propeaq Light Glasses. I am a psychiatric nurse from origin, but after 12 years of working in the field, I went to Eindhoven University of Technology, where I became a researcher on the field of light and health. And I did a lot of studies in the field of light and the elderly, and light to improve environmental health conditions. In 2006, I met Jacques Verharen, who is the for the moment, the French director of the French national swimming team. And before that, he was the technical director of the Australian team and the Dutch team, swimming team. And with him, I developed, also with Rick, a new technique called chrono coaching, which makes you able to perform at any time of the day. Normally, the best time to have a performance is about 5 hours in the 5 p.m. And but sometimes you have to perform at, for example, 11 o'clock in the morning or even 11 o'clock in the evening. And with chronocoaching, you can shift your sleep wake rhythm to any moment of the day to perform at your best at any moment at the day. And to make this more easy, we developed the Propeaq Light Glasses, which uses blue light to shift your sleep wake rhythm. So that's in shortly my background. Rick, will you follow up, please?
Sure, I will. My name is Rick Muller. I'm the commercial officer of Chrono Eyewear, where I'm working with Toine now since 2018, and responsible for every marketing, PR, and commercial activity of Propeaq, online, offline, in our own country, but also in Europe and outside Europe, to make Propeaq widely available for the persons who can benefit from it. And my background, I'm a master in business administration, in marketing. And before joining Toine, I had some roles in multinationals. So there's a lot of knowledge on how to play the fields of international and global expansion. And since 2018, I'm implementing the knowledge within a very small team. We're just 5 of us, but we're managing and growing. And my slides will tell you a little bit on how we did it and on how we are doing it at the moment.
Great. Thank you both for the introductions. I'm sure with the more details, it will be interesting to hear how you developed from such a small team into what the product is now. So the slides are ready, and I'm hoping that it will work to share. I will. Can you see the slides?
I'm afraid not. Now I do.
Yeah, full.
Yeah.
Perfect. So
Perfect. Yeah. All right. As I told you, we're working at Chrono Eyewear, producer of the Propeaq Light Glasses, which you see here in the middle of the picture. As you can see, it looks like a very normal glasses, but there is a special technique inside. Please skip. As you understand, and as I told a little earlier before, in many situations, your sleep wake rhythm is disrupted. For example, these disruptions are caused by the unstable biological clock in the brain. And these disruptions occur, for example, with shift work, which are many people are working in shift work. About 15% of all working people are working in shift work. These rhythm disruptions are also more or less common with jet lag, but also with sleep-wake disorders and mood disorders. So many people are affected by an unstable biological clock. Skip, please. And one of the most important factors in the field in this area is the eye. And as you understand, you can see with your eye. That's most people know that, of course. But there are also signals not only to the part of the brain which you can see with, but there are also part of the brains which are connected with the retina in the eye, and one of them is called the biological clock. And in this picture, the biological clock is called the nucleus suprachiasmaticus, SCN. It's a small part of the brain, about 30,000 neurons in the center of the brain, with a connection to the eye, but also to a number of other parts and one of them is, for example, the pineal gland. And in the pineal gland, the hormone, the night hormone melatonin, is released during the night, and it must be suppressed by an endogenous rhythm, but also by light during the daytime. And in the retina, there are, of course, cones and rods to see colors and to see good, but there are also photoreceptors which only transmit the signal, the light signal, to the biological clock. Skip, please. And as you can see in the eye, there are many colors to be seen, of course, but for our work, most important color is the blue light. Blue light has a very strong effect on suppressing melatonin, but also on, for example, improving the cortisol awakening response in the morning. And cortisol is an energy hormone. And as you can see, the most sensitive part of the retina are the lower parts of the retina, which have the most of these specific photoreceptors. Skip, please. Well, the biological clock, as I told you, there are many functions of the biological clock, but most important is the regulation of all circadian rhythms. And you have many rhythms in your body. It's been told that there are thousands and thousands of rhythms in your body, and most of these rhythms have an endogenous rhythm, but they are all affected by the signals of the biological clock and the eye, which tells you how that it is outside. And as you understand, for example, when you fly a long distance flight, an intercontinental flight, these signals of the biological clock are not correct with the time of the day on the location where you are. So the biological clock can be disrupted. Next, please. Okay, the biological clock is, as I told you, a timing system, a timing mechanism, and it has on a number of functions an effect. Most important for us are sleep patterns, but also the heart rhythm, body temperature, hormone secretion like melatonin and cortisol, and in general also on your metabolism. And a strong, regular, stable signal from the biological clock is very important for your health. Next, please. As I told you, melatonin is one of the hormones which is affective or influenced by the signals of the biological clock. Melatonin has to be released about 9 o'clock in the evening and has to be suppressed in about 7 o'clock in the morning. This rhythm is normally very stable, but in our society, these rhythms are most of the time disrupted by shift work or jet lag, or stay up too late and get up too late in the morning, and so on. So in many cases, these rhythms are not very stable, and it has an effect on your sleep. Most of the time, the quality of your sleep, but also it has a recovery function during the night. It is an antioxidant. Melatonin has also an effect on the control of your body temperature, on your immune activity, and also on the glucose and fat mechanism. So melatonin is a very important hormone. Next, please. Yeah, well, you can use light to shift the sleep-wake rhythm. Normally, you are awake during the daytime and you are sleeping during night, but this rhythm can be shifted, and you can shift it with light, and especially the blue part of the light, the short wavelengths, are most important and most powerful to shift your sleep-wake rhythm. For example, when you normally get up at 7 o'clock in the morning, when you get up at 7 o'clock in the morning and you use blue light at that moment and block ambient light in the evening, then the next day you can get up at 6 or even 5:30. And so you can shift with blue light in the morning, you sleep-wake rhythm to an earlier moment. And when you use blue light at the evening, you can shift your sleep-wake rhythm to a later moment. And every day you can shift it with 1.5 minutes. And that's very important and very effective when you are traveling to Japan, for example. The time zones to be crossed are about 7 times. They are 7 time zones, and you can bring yourself into the Japan local time by shifting 4 days your clock with 1.5 hours. So there's a very effective way you can beat jet lag up to 100%. And there's a lot of studies done with shifting the sleep-wake rhythm. And the only thing which is important is compliance. You need a high compliance, self-discipline to treat yourself with this technique. Next slide, please. Well, blue light has also an effect on alertness. We know from studies, and they are mentioned on the right part of the slide. We know, researchers know that there is a correlation between alertness and blue light. To make a long story short, when you are, for example, working the night shift and at 4 o'clock at night you feel very sleepy and not too alert and very low concentration, then when you use blue light for 30 minutes, your alertness will improve and also your concentration to be more, to say it more easy, you will be awake more easy. So it has an effect on your alertness and concentration, and you have more energy to end the night shift. Next, please. Well, to make this technique more easy, you can use, of course, the ambient light, but this signal is too weak because it has only to do with the blue part of the spectrum. We developed the Propeaq Light Glasses, which is a very easy but intelligent glasses with blue LEDs inside, a battery, a processor, and in some models also Bluetooth. And it's an innovative technology, and as you can see, it just look like a normal glasses. And on the picture you see a Belgian cyclist, and very well-known cyclist, and he won the world hour record in 2019 by using the Propeaq Light Glasses. He had to perform in the late morning, but his peak performance moment is at more or less 5 p.m. in the afternoon. So by using the Propeaq Light Glasses, you can shift your sleep-wake rhythm to an earlier moment, and so his peak performance moment was not at 5 o'clock at the end, but at 11 o'clock in the morning. And he is still holding this record, and he improved not only by using the glasses, but he was fully prepared, of course. He improved his the world record, world hour record with more than 500 meters. And Propeaq was a very important contribution to it. So, next please, yes. So you can also use it for night shifts, as I told you. There are many people working night shift, and you have to be alert, as this nurse or doctor is telling you. you are not able to make any. You cannot make any mistakes during the night shift when you are working at the intensive care unit, for example. And then 30 minutes of using the blue light can help you be more alert and better concentrated during the night shift, so you won't make as many mistakes as you are not using this product. Next, please. The Propeaq Light Glasses has blue light inside with LEDs, but sometimes you have to block blue light, especially the blue light from the blue parts of the light in your room or outside. And in that way, you can put out the lenses and put in orange lenses, which blocks all blue parts of the ambient light. And then the effect is adverse. It has the opposite effect. With blocking blue light, you are not energetic anymore, but it makes you feel sleepy. And on the left, you see the Olympic ski champion from Switzerland. His name is Ramon Zenhauseren. And at the right, you see a Dutch Olympic champion track cycling, and his name is Matthijs Bugli. And they are just two of more than 1,000 athletes, Olympic athletes throughout the world, using this very successful technique. So we are very proud to have all these people using our successful product. Next, please. As you can see, the glasses are more or less simple. It's a frame with LEDs in it and a rechargeable battery. Some models have Bluetooth to make it more intelligent, so you can use an app as well. And some people think that it looked nice, but it is design. Some people do not like the design, and that's taste, I think. What is most important, it's very it's very effective. And here you can see on the picture the blue light, the light blue lenses, which has only a cosmetic effect, and the orange lenses. Next, please. This is what I told you before. They are easy to change. There is a UV filter in the lenses, so it's also a safe product. Next slide, please. You can use this for all kinds of problems with your sleep-wake rhythm, to have a higher energy, for more energy boost. You can improve your sleep, not only the quality of the sleep, but also on the duration of the sleep. And for example, when you use blue light in the morning and blocking the blue light with red lenses in the evening, your sleep will be more stable and has a higher quality. And as I told you, also many people are now using this technique, these glasses, for traveling without jet lag. Next, please. Well, what is very important for us is, of course, on the right side, the peak performance. As I told you, many athletes have to perform at different times as their body clock tells them to be the best. So then you can shift your sleep-wake rhythm to the desired moment, as I told you with the Belgian cyclist. But in this case, I want to mention health, not only in general, but also in the medical field. The Propeaq Light Glasses is commonly used for winter blues, which is, I don't think it will be a very big problem in Turkey, but in the Netherlands, the weather is sometimes very bad, and the light conditions are very low. So there can problem occur, which is called winter blues, or even winter depression, which is more severe. People don't feel very well in the winter. They are slow, they have a bad mood, and they sleep too much and they eat too much. And it's called winter blues. And you can use the blue light of Propeaq in the morning to get rid of these problems. This is one of the applications. There are even, of course, more applications because, for example, sleep-wake rhythm. When you cannot go to sleep at night and cannot get up in the morning, you can shift your sleep-wake rhythm to have a more decent rhythm. And we are involved in a very important study, a study with Parkinson's disease. With Parkinson's disease, there is a problem with sleep most of the time. People with Parkinson's disease are fatigued most of the time, and then they sleep 1, 2, 3, or 4 times during the day, short naps, which has an effect on the sleep pressure at night. So the sleep will be worse during the night because of the lack of the sleep pressure. And when you use the light therapy, the light glasses in the morning for 30 minutes, and at the beginning of the evening, your day would be like a summer day, a long daytime light exposure. And when you are not taking too much naps, your sleep quality will improve. And we did a first study with a famous professor on Parkinson's disease from the Netherlands, and the first results are very promising. We have peer-reviewed publication on this, and you can find it on our website. And we are now in a phase 2 study, and there will be a phase 3 clinical trial after this. And what is very important, in the first study, we have found 65 patients to help us do this study. So patients' involvement is extremely important for us. Next slide, please. This is the light schedule. I won't explain it to you because we have also an app which you can download for free at the App Store or in Google Play. It's called the Propeaq Time Tutor app. You will see it in the next slide. And on the right, you see a few occasions, police officers using this technique, and nurses and doctors in the hospital. Next slide, please. This is the Time Tutor app, as I told you. I would suggest to download it yourselves for free at the App Store, at Google Play. And you can see that can be very helpful, because with Time Tutor app, you don't have to think when to use it, but the Time Tutor app will tell you when to use it. You only have to put in a few characteristics from you and your shift schedule, and then the app tells you just when to use the blue light or the orange lenses. Next, please. Okay, because of the time, I will skip this one. Next, please. And these are the segments which the Propeaq can be used to. As you see, in jet lag, athletes and sports, high performance professionals like surgeons and so on, but also students who have to be very sharp in the early morning can use the blue light in the morning. Shift worker segment, of course, and as I told you, many health segments. Next, please. Okay, and then these are one of the a few of the thousands Olympians from 15 countries using our glasses. And now I come to the end of my presentation. It took a little too long, I'm afraid, but I needed to explain how this new technique works. Rick.
Fantastic. Thank you, Toine. That was a very interesting presentation, and it also enables us to see how the science develops, right? And the patient and the end user input, the importance of that. So thanks a lot. There's a lot to talk about it, but we will save it for the last 20, 30 minutes or so. So Rick, please go ahead and share with us, because Toine touched base more on the product versatility and the science behind it. But we also know that for such products to develop in the innovation cycle, you also need a lot of growth and business angle to go with it. So please go ahead and help us understand a bit on that end as well.
Yes, thank you, Melis. I will. My presentation is not that long. I only have 6 slides.
That's enough.
So on our global expansion strategy, of course, first you have to start thinking on what you're gonna do. and why you want to do it before you know how you want to do it. Those are the questions you need to answer. But the most important thing is to find your product market fit. Which market fits your product best? And in this case, for us, it was the Olympic athletes who travel. So that was our first market where we touched base, where we were actually the only product available with the best solution. And it was not to us the best solution, but also to our customers, because there could be a mismatch to what a product developer thinks is a unique selling point compared to what your potential customer think is a unique selling point. And in the end, it's your customer who decides if you're successful or not. So always try to get into contact with customers, potential customers, to see if you are aligned with what they think of your product or service or solution. And also, what is the difference between what you offer compared to either your competitors or alternatives? And is it worth for your potential customer to pay the difference in price, to go the extra mile in I don't know, maybe it's a little bit more difficult to use, or it's harder to get your hands on. Well, nowadays with online marketplaces and shops, it's a lot easier. But in the past, you had to go to other stores. Maybe there was a travel difficult to get your customers there. But the most important thing is get your product market fit and learn from your early adopters, maybe the investors or your crowdfunders who invested in you. Why do they think you could be successful? Where you could get your first earned dollars? And once you have some of your customers and you really want to know if you have your product market fit, that's something, it's apart from growth hacking. But the main question you should ask is will your customers be disappointed if your customer is not available? If the answer is fully a yes, then you are spot on. If the answer is, well, actually, no, I just bought it because I like you, then you should go and do some more research. And that's actually one of the first things you will learn if you start growth hacking. Growth hacking is actually the new way of finding the perfect way to speed up your growth. There's a lot of information about growth hacking, a lot of webinars, books, blogs, vlogs. Dive into whatever company or consultancy offers growth hacking. There's a lot to learn, and there's a lot you can do for yourself before you start hiring them. They're not cheap, but then you are really on the route to find your product market fit and how you can boost your sales. So after that, once you know what you want to, where your product market fit, a technique I use, it's called OGSM. It's not something I've developed. It's from Procter & Gamble, not the smallest company in the world. But every business plan, product launch, sales plan, whatever they write, it's based on the OGSM, and it's an abbreviation of the objective, the goals, the strategy, and the measurements. The objective is the point at the horizon at the end of a year, 3 years, half a year, 6 months. It should be a qualitative objective, so there are no numbers in. It should be ambitious. You should get motivated to get it, and it's a need to have at the end of the time. It's not a nice to have. So you really need to have that in 6 months, a year, whatever. And then you can translate the objective into a goal, and that's actually the quantitative element. So what's the turnover you need to get? What are the numbers of customers you need to get, how many products you need to sell, what should your market share be, what should your margin be. All those kind of things are in your goals, and each goal should be translated into a strategy. How will you reach that goal? Which resource will you use to get that goal? And once you have written down your strategy, then you can make your measurements on, okay, what should I do, when should I do it, and who should do it, which makes a weekly plan, a bi-weekly plan, a monthly plan, or a quarterly plan. But then you can track down if you are up to speed to get your objective. And actually, everything that's written here could be a one-pager. If you want to know how, then send Melis an email. I can send you some more information about this. But this is a one-pager business plan, which helps you along the way, and it really indicates on what should be done, who should do it, what should we reach, and in the end, you can reach your objective. So for Propeaq, our mission is to make lighting products and services. So it's not just a product, but also on how you should use it to enhance health and/or performance accessible to everyone, and also everywhere, which makes us our approach a global approach. The vision we have is that chronobiology, biotechnology, should be widely used in 2030, so in 9 years, in everyone's life in many applications, which means it should be easily adopted in every lifestyle, in every part of the world. So there's still a huge road ahead of us, but we are en route, as they say. So the strategy, what I can tell you is on how we got our global expansion. At the moment, we are available in 15 countries. Some tips: start visiting trade shows, or actually be an exhibitor at a trade show. Many trade shows offer cheap fees for startups or first timers, so you don't pay a lot. You just need 2 or 4 square meters in many cases to show your product. Prepare for a trade show, see if you can get hold of a visitors list, and start sending out mailings for getting your appointments on the trade show. So not just go there and see, okay, everybody who comes along, maybe there's the customer, but really be prepared on what you can, who you can meet there. Also send out some press releases, what you have to offer, why they should visit your booth on the trade show. And there's a lot more of things you can do and you should do before you actually go to a trade show. But that's a big thing for us, where we met some of our distributors. LinkedIn, it's a very useful tool, especially when you know the function of a potential customer or distributor or reseller. Try to find them and try to get a link with them. Once you are a first degree connection, then you can start messaging. So really think on how you should approach them. Start for searching for resellers and experts on either LinkedIn or Google. If you have a product or a service, see who your competitors are. Maybe your competitors have a site where they visualize their global expansion. Maybe they even show their offices abroad. Maybe you can contact them and see if they offer other products. Then you can also contact them to see if your product can be in their assortment. If you have some customers in your own country, then ask them if they have some referrals in other countries whom you can contact and see if they are interested in using or distributing the product. And also, of course, ambassadors. Once you have some experts, try if they are willing to be an ambassador for you to further expand your business. So on where we are at the moment, after this is, I think, in 3 years, we are available in 14 countries, actually closing deals now in the US and in Saudi Arabia. In Russia, we just met a new distributor. For Australia, it's the same, but due to COVID, it's quite slow now. Another tip, I was contacted by a potential distributor in Russia, and I was checking his website, and I saw he was a distributor of a major sleep manufacturer. So I go to their website of this sleep producer, and I saw on their website they have a list of 60 distributors for their products. So that's a major resource for me. So every of these 60 distributors of that product will receive an email of me, because perhaps I could be of interest for them to add our product to their assortment. So that's how one of the strategies we use to get our global presence. And this is just in 3 years' time with a small team. A final question I would like to answer is that our product is not a medical device yet, although it is applied science. So there's a lot of medical research behind the glasses, but it's actually not scientifically proven. And there's a difference. Scientifically proven means that there is a research done with your product where it proves to have a solution. And it's very costly. So what we are doing at the moment is that we are finding funds to do this research, to get medical certification. In the meantime, we position our product as a wellness device or a non-medical device. And in many markets, it's no problem. But it means that in our case, for sleep clinics or hospitals, they say, okay, before we start using your glasses for our patients, we need this medical scientific research. But for our employees who do shift work, we really believe that it will work, and then we will start using it. So there's a difference, again, in being applied science compared to scientifically proven. So in a nutshell, our strategy on how we came to the strategy and how we apply it to get our global coverage. So Melis, I hope this is what you were looking for.
To the elements that Toine covered, that I think your main points was, of course, on the non-medical side, as you very nicely explained, that it's not a medical device yet. But I think don't be humble on the medical front in terms of the clinical trial that is already going on, and I think that will validate, hopefully, and give you evidence to showcase that it is a medical device. But that's a matter of time to see how that will evolve, and I want to focus a bit in the last 15-20 minutes a bit on the medical segment and how you are focusing on the patient centricity as well as harnessing of digital data. So thank you both for the presentation. I have a few more questions that we can have an open discussion on. And one of them is with regards to, and I think this can be addressed to both of you, when we look at the different healthcare stakeholders and bodies, we see that patient input or the end user input, because we don't want to address them as patients if they don't have a disease. We want to call them end user. And we know that the input coming from the patients or the end users are coming more important with the decision-making process. And we're seeing a shift from disease-centered to patient-centric approach in life sciences and healthcare overall. So my question is, how does Propeaq take the patient input or the end user input in their innovation development, especially if we're talking about the medical segment? How are you centralizing the patient or the end user in the development of the light glasses?
Well, I mentioned the study which we have done with Parkinson's disease, which is, I think, a very good example of such a strategy. We asked, I think, 65 Parkinson's disease patients throughout the world in this study, with a questionnaire, of course, and we did an intervention. We did an T1 and a T0. So in first place, there was a questionnaire given to the patients not using the glasses, and after 6 weeks, then they treat themselves with 6 weeks of Propeaq in the morning and in the early evening. And then we did a T1 questionnaire as well, and we compared the situation, of course, and it was very easy for the patients to use this online questionnaire. So there was a high send back value. I mean, there were many respondents on this study. And another one is with people with ADHD. Those patients most of the time have also a disrupted sleep-wake rhythm, and we are working together with a Dutch professor, psychiatrist who is specialized in the field of ADHD, and she did a lot of and still ongoing studies using asking patients how they experience Propeaq during their treatment. So I think, and we not only ask them about the effects, but also how do you like the design, how do you like the color, does it fit comfortably, and so on and so on. So we have a lot of data which we can use to improve this product. And the third I would like to mention is a little secret, not the right word, but it's the other word of secret in Dutch. Okay. How does it call in English? Confidential. That's the word I looked for. I'm sorry. It's confidential, but I can tell a little about it. We are working now on an intelligent app which tells the user when to use the glasses the best. So it's a two-way communication. Person is wearing the Propeaq for a kind of disease or just for sleep-wake rhythm improvement, and the app asked the user if this certain schedule they use, she or he use, is has an effect or not. So we can learn about this very easy as well. So, and this is of course much not so easy as I tell you now, but these are some studies we do now to improve the product and also the app. Rick, can you?
You're also this also means that you're also personalizing it, right? Because you're getting inputs from the end user.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
And besides the scientific studies which are going on at the moment, several customers, organizations also do some pilots to see, for example, if the glasses can be used during work and how their employees experience the glasses, both on effect but also on if they like wearing it, if they feel free to wear it, or do they think they look a little bit silly. all that information also comes back to us, which helps us for designing the new model, which actually will start within a month, once we have finalized the funding. So customer feedback, if it's an athlete or a patient or an employee or just a customer, is very important to develop the glasses, develop the product in design, but also in usability.
Well, I think I was on mute.
Yes.
I was just saying that is exactly the part where, I think we're really shifting into the personalization and the end user centricity, integrating that data into the development journey. And I think it's great to see that you're already integrating that. And I was really curious also on the medical device front, because say that these clinical trials progress effectively, for example, with ADHD or Parkinson's. Does that mean that in parallel you will be needing to file for a medical device filing, or that can come after? That should come beforehand, right? Especially in the Netherlands, as far as I know.
Yeah, that's correct. There was an obligation to have a medical device directive, and is it obligation, Rick?
Verplichting.
Yeah. Yes. And now it's turned into the medical device regulation, which is an obligation. First, it was just an advice, and we have to be in the medical device regulation in 2024. And because we were on the market in 2020, we do not need to have this medical device regulation in 2021, but in 2024. And it has to do with the European Committee and regulations from the European Committee. And it makes it more complicated. It's necessary. I understand it that it's necessary, but it's complicated, and it's just a lot of paperwork to do, studies to be done, and that's okay. That's the more easy part, because the studies are being done, and it is extremely expensive. So it makes it not more easy, but we manage.
Your mic is muted, Melis.
Yeah, the platform mutes it when the other is speaking, and I just noticed that. I was just saying that it makes a lot of sense, and I think it's a matter of time that it will evolve into what case it will be. And another question that I wanted to ask you is with regards to, obviously we talked a lot about the scientific background on the blue light and the melatonin as well, and how do you evaluate the research literature, Toine, that is already there? Do you think there is sufficient research that has been done on blue light itself that gives you a good kind of core to build the product on, or do you think there is a lot more work to be done, especially in terms of valid research, obviously?
Yes, there's a lot of studies being done with light in general, but also in blue light. For example, we know that blue light has an effect on your metabolism, and there are studies being prepared now for example, diabetes, which can use blue light to stabilize your sleep-wake rhythm, and then also the rhythm of your metabolism. There are two large studies done in the United States by using blue light for concussion, for mild traumatic brain injury, for example. And then you see by improving sleep, by using blue light in the morning and blocking blue light in the evening, the speed of recovery is much higher. So this is also known for using blue light, and there are many sleep problems, sleep disturbances, which can be treated with blue light very easily, and it is not burdensome. It is easy to use. The only thing which is important is to explain patients what you are doing and how you are doing, because they know why you are doing, but they do not understand how you are doing. So it's very important to give patients the good instructions, the best instructions.
Yeah. And also, that's the integration part, right? Their feedback and their input, and helping you address their needs, because you might be developing a product, but it's not addressing a need, and it doesn't make sense. So, thanks, Toine, for that. And of course, I'm guessing that you do establish a lot of scientific partnerships, but also to develop the product and the company as a whole. We know that partnerships are very key, strategic partnerships to develop the company and the product. And also, I wanted to ask you how do you view the importance of building such partnerships in innovation development? And can you give any examples of such partnerships that help you scale, help you expand your know-how during the process? Maybe Rick, you wanna address that one?
You can tell about the BioClock consortium.
We are involved in a huge research program in Holland, where I think it's 27 knowledge organizations and hospitals and big companies are involved. It's called the BioClock consortium. It received a grant of 10 million euros from the Dutch government to perform, I think it was 24 research topics, all surrounded on the circadian rhythm. And within 2 of these researches, our glasses will be used to determine not the effect of the glasses, but to optimize the effect of the glasses. Where one will be shift work, where we want to actually understand if the advice we give now, where, for example, it's a time frame of between 12 and 2 at night, or between 1 and 3 at night, should it be more precise on, okay, if you have chronotype late, then you should wear the glasses between 1 and 1:30. If you are early chronotype, it should be between 12 and 12:30. So we want to learn from this research how we can optimize the advice we give to shift workers or night shifters to use the glasses. And the other research, I think, Toine, it's on pregnant ladies who have sleep. Of course, they are ladies who have sleep difficulties, actually sleep-wake disorders, where with the use of the glasses, it can be synchronized again with sunrise and sunset, which is actually determining our circadian rhythm. So in those 2 cases, the glasses are used. And the professor who is in charge of this research contacted us because he found the glasses. He was actually involved with a competitor of us from a different country. But he thought, okay, I'm a Dutch professor. There is a Dutch company offering a comparable product. So I think it's nice that we start talking and see if we can start collaborating, which resulted in this research, which is very valuable to us.
That's very interesting. And I guess with regards to with regards to the pregnant woman that you were referring to, is that turning into a trial type of setting that you will be getting a group of pregnant women, or is that depend on the size of the consortium? How does it work?
I don't know the size of this research, but knowing this professor, and we're working now with him for almost 2 years, it will be big enough to have a significant result where it will be published, of course, the article. And as well, we already know that there will be an effect. It will be probably a major breakthrough for pregnant ladies who suffer from this sleep-wake disorders, and there are many.
I think you should speak more loud because you're on mute.
Now, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, I was just saying that can turn into a very interesting study as well, and with the consortium support, it can scale also.
Yes.
We are actually coming to close to an end. And what I want to close with is actually asking you what is ahead for Propeaq and its end user, how you will develop the segments and the product.
Yes, we will continue doing so what we are used to do, and so we will continue mostly in this period of the year for winter blues, of course, but in general, sleep and shift work are the most important issues. We work for the Dutch police and for Dutch defense forces. And also for other defense forces in Europe, and most likely this will grow because the effects for these people are very high. So we will continue on that, and in the medical field we will concentrate us mainly on Parkinson's disease, because we have seen in the first study and also in the first results of the second study that this is promising. So that will be the main strategy on health issues, I think.
Great. Very excited to follow that front as well.
Yeah.
And Rick, any closing remarks from you?
Well, besides the pilots being done in Holland, we are now starting to do some pilots in customers of our distributors. One is in Ireland, one could be in France. In Germany, we have some things running. So also our distributors are supported by us to do these kind of things, because in the end, a local research is always more valuable than an international research. But it really helps if, for example, the Dutch police has a positive experience with the glasses, to open up a door at the German police or the Danish police or the Turkish police to start investigating if it could be useful for them as well. So every expansion is a small step, should be supported by the organization, and knowledge should be shared with your resellers or distributors. Only then you can really expand globally. If it's just moving boxes, then you will be finished quite soon.
Precisely, and I think more network you have and grow in different segments, the product will be better adopted in different countries. So
yes,
very inspiring to see where the product started, the science behind it, ambassadors that you grew, and the partners you managed to expand with. I appreciate a lot that you joined us today. You shared your insights. Thank you for your time. I also would like to thank everyone who joined the session here today or who signed up but missed the session. The session will be recorded on our YouTube channel, so you can watch it later as well. And yes, I appreciate your time, and thank you very much, Eric and Toine. I hope to speak to you soon.
You're very welcome. Thanks for inviting us and having us.
Thank you, Melis. Enjoy your evening.
My pleasure. Thank you. You too, and wishing everyone a good evening.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.